She loved know who you are, note takers?
No taker PM.
Pardon me?
I'm no taker PM. You're no taker.
Note taker, okay, got it. Okay, so, it's the music. Let's just do SMET, of your choice, just for a couple of measure. Opening chord. Actually, everybody do B. Super high basses, one more time. One more time. Okay, birds.
It's the music that brings us together. It's the music that brings
Fantastic. So we're going to jump in and play a little bit. And the first thing we're going to do are some, like I said, some bigger concept stuff. And these are probably things that you're like, I know this already. Right? You're gonna, and I've said this before. As someone who has been a judge, one of the things I like to say is that I often can't judge you on what you know. I can only judge you on what you do. Right? Same with the audience, same with everything. So the first things that we're going to do is just ensure that we're always doing those things, that they become more of those habitual things that we do. Anything you put on stage is just an accumulation of your habits. Right? No one suddenly, I don't know about you, but I know in our chorus, we don't suddenly like boost on stage and do our very best, right? It's rarely that. It's the opposite of that, right? Just a little bit. And it's because it's an accumulation of our habits, right? And so our habits come through on stage, whatever they are. So today, what we're going to be talking about is how can we continue to build really, really good habits. My background is more voice, but as a director, as you can say this, we're always generalists, right? So anything that's in me, we're going to play. So the first thing I'm going to do is just shake out a little bit for a second. And you've been doing SOBTs, which is fantastic. We're going to be doing them a lot today too, just more than anything to keep the voice pliable. So I'm just going to ask you to do a couple of bumps or up and down the range, whatever you're most comfortable with. Just or to a foot, right?
Yeah, we don't follow.
Fantastic. We're going to do a Z sound. Or my favorite one is the TH. It really tickles. So we're going to, the first thing that we're going to do is talk about some vocal things to see if we can get even greater efficiency across the board. So one of the things that I've noticed, I think the last time I was able to be with you is probably something like 5 years ago now. It doesn't feel like that long because of the break that we all had, but at the same time. So what I heard then and what I hear now is a different organization. And by the way, in a good way. So the habits that you are already creating and instilling are fantastic. So really what we're doing right now is taking some of those things and saying, we just want to add this to it or enhance this or go even further with it. Does that kind of make sense? So the first thing I'm going to get you to do, 5 notes down, is do meow, 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 and go. Meow, 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 meow. Fantastic. While you do that, I'm going to throw 2 things at you. One is going to be the vocal thing, the other thing is going to be the pitch. Let's just meow, meow, meow. Make sure 3 is high on the way down. Meow, and 2. Right? The other thing that I like to say is oftentimes when we get to the end of a phrase, I don't know if you're the same, but when I get home, like if I've had a long day, what is the first thing that I do, maybe you too, I walk through my place, I go to my bedroom, and I put on the comfy clothes, right? The pajamas. It's like, I'm tired of wearing this shirt, I just want my t-shirt, whatever, the comfy clothes with my pajamas. In singing though, no pajamas. No pajamas. So what does that mean? I mean you have to stay formal. I'm not saying like, the naked or something. You have to stay formal. Why? Because we get to the end of the phrase and we relax. Nya, 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 nya. Oh, pajamas. Right? And then pitch. That's where our pitch is. So when I was listening to the other songs, that's where we lose energy. That's where our pitch suffers. It's not throughout the phrase. It's not the start of the phrase. We're in our formal attire. It's the end of the phrase that we need to. So even this stupid exercise going, nya, 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 can you finish in your formal attire? No pajamas. Here we go. Nya, 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 nya. Yeah, see, that is way more vibrant and way more on pitch. I love it. Do that one more time. This time go even further. Nya, nya, like, it's going to sound a little bit like kids on the playground, right? Like, yeah, that way. Fantastic. So we're focusing on pitch and we're focusing on tone right now. That's not the end product though, because that would sound terrible. But a little harder. And go. Wonderful. Very good. When we get to like 4 and 5, so 1, 2, 3, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, whichever you want to look at it, when we get to the end of the exercise, can you warm up the sound? So as opposed to nya, 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 the whole time. Nya, 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 nya. Just allow it to get that space that you would normally sing with. And go. Now, one of the things as that space is happening, I know I'm talking a lot, right? It's my only caffeine boost now. I'm trying to reduce my caffeine and I'm doing it in the morning. So when we get to the low notes, and when we open that up, it sounds like we're adding breath. So here I hear, yeah, 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 yeah. You hear it kind of, it's a little fuzzy in terms of the sound. Let's not let the sound be fuzzy at all. Yeah, 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 yeah. We're just changing the vowels from and to like a little bit more open. Go for it. Yeah, but you can hear that vibrancy in the room. This is like, I know overly ringy spaces, it makes us feel really good about ourselves. But you can hear that it's a different tone in the room. So I want you to play with that for a minute. Can we do the same exercise and make it a little bit more breathy when we go to the bottom again? Just hear what that sounds like. It's flat, but right? That's one attribute. But you can hear that something is missing. Like I'm losing overtones. It doesn't sound as vibrant. This time, keep it really efficient. Yeah, and go. Absolutely. So you can hear it in the room. It's louder, yes, but it's also more vibrant. Can we go a little bit higher? Yes, and so another way that I sometimes think of it, if I have my hands out here like this, when I sing that more breathy sound, it feels like this, right? Yeah, it's right there. Yeah, 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 yeah. Like all this air is flooding through, right? But when I sing with that efficient tone, it feels like it's a very narrow scope. Yeah, 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 yeah. I have that kind of narrow scope of sound. So if you're a physical person or a visual person, that might help you a little bit. So try that out. And you're making interesting choices, right? Some of you are flipping into chest like a more chest voice. Yeah, 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 yeah. And when you flip to chest voice, it's affecting your pitch, right? Not in a positive way, right? So man, let's just be honest, right? It's better to fix it. So I would rather you see if you can find more of that point or focus or efficiency in your head voice. Or if you do flip the chest, just be conscious of that, right? That you don't want to bring the weight of your chest voice. Some of us would call that mix, right? A little bit of both. Yeah, and go. Better. So let your breath in. Wonderful. Shake out a little bit. We're going to do a chord exercise that you've probably done, but it's going to be based more on your range, so that's going to be a little bit more helpful. Can I get an A for a minute? Perfect. If you're a bass, you're going to sing, yeah, but for now we're going to do that, and then we're going to turn to nice vowels, right? Yeah, 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 you're going to wait a long time, then yeah, yeah. Have you done this one before? No. Great, even better. If you're a lead, you're going to just walk up the scale, you're going to go, yeah, 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 and then basses, yeah, that's when you're going to do your move. So can we do those two parts together? Here we go. And so for your bass, let's go. And I promise basses, hands up for a minute. Wonderful. I promise basses that I will show you where to move. You don't move for a while. Yeah, twiddle thumbs, and then I'll go. And that's you. Yeah, yeah. Here we go. Two parts. Wonderful, perfect, easy, right? If you're a baritone, baritones, hands up for a minute. You're all over the place. I love it. You're gonna walk up to 5. That's flat 6. I don't know why I have to also move my baritone. But I do. I was telling Don that I just started singing baritone, and of course quartet, and I thank you. I've rarely sung baritone before, other than as director, you know, and I just want to say that it's your superpower. Singing baritone is your superpower that I'm hoping to gain. So, flat six back on 5, and that movement will be with the basses, right? You'll move up to 5 and then hold it, and then move with the basses. Here we go, together, and. Fantastic. Tenors, where are you at? Fantastic. So what you're going to do is walk up with the leads, and then you're going to go, at the end. I just did that to make sure that I still have those notes staying. So far, so good. So far, so good. We'll see what happens after lunch, right? Let's do it one more time. Let's do that. Perfect. And make sure the whole time we're really almost like a nasty sound, right? Here we go. And now everyone's getting an idea at least of how it goes, right? So let's like fine tune. So one of the things that I've noticed is that basses, when you're focused on, and maybe baritones a little bit, when you're focused on that really efficient tone, you're comfortable going from here, that would be the breathy tone, and you move here, and you're like, yes, this is efficient. But you notice that my hands were closer, so I actually need you to go even further than your heart thinks, right? Your heart's like, I've done it. But out here, we're not hearing as far as you can go yet. Does that make sense? And baritones as well. It's really important that a lot of the root 5 action, right, and this exercise has that, is really rock solid. That's where the overtones are really maximized in terms of their generation. So we need that basses as focused as possible. Baritones, keep that focus as well. It's easier higher in your range. So leads and tenors are going to have very little problem doing it, right? Except when leads go low, right? And baritones, when you're high, it would be easier for you. But basses, you're constantly living in this horrid place of the low part of your range, right? I say that my dad was a bass. Any opportunity to make fun of him growing up was, I would take it. But you live in a low part of your range. And so that means that naturally you want to sing with a little bit more breath in the tone. And I just want it to be as laser focused as possible. One more time. But let's go up to B flat, right? I'm going to change the key out again. Good, two, Here we go. Everyone's starting there. And if that felt like, okay, that was a little bit more, I was more aggressive in that point of my sound, fantastic. That needs to become more of our habit. So if you find that you're like, well, it kind of hurts a little bit, or I'm pushing, that's normally not always a volume thing rather than what's happening. It means that I'm trying to sing too loud. You can do it, still have that sort of core of my tone, regardless of where I was in my range. Can we do that one more time? But this time I'm going to give B natural. So one more up. So we can play. And. Wonderful. Can we change it to va? But as we go, va, 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 everyone say va. Fantastic. So those are like 3 different vas that we can have. The bottom one, I call that Southern England. That's kind of like around London, right? They would say like Bath. It's true. In Northern England, they say Bath, like us, but down there, Bath, right? The middle one is pretty much how we speak, va, right? The top one, I don't know what that is. Maybe or something like that, but it sounds very like tight and yeah, it's.
Oh, that's Rochester.
You're like, I'm home. So the key is that for this exercise at least, we want to find something in the middle ground. Here's the thing to know: when you're hiring your range, which of those sounds do you think you sound most like? The upper one, the top third sound. When you're lower in your range, what sound do you, the bottom third sound? So you can hear very quickly, we're picking two different vowels of extreme. So while we're singing the song, we have the word heart, right? In When She Loved Me, you know, you have these long-held, beautiful ah sounds that you're technically, in your mind, you're singing the same vowel, but what's coming out of your mouth are two different ones on extreme parts of the range. Not even, so we need to find more middle ground, more of the time, right? So everyone say va. Use that sound. I shouldn't clap so loud. Let's do the B natural one more time. Va, here we go, and wonderful, absolutely. I also love this exercise because it's really hard to have pajamas at the end. It's such a ta-da! Let's do one more in the key of C, and then we're going to apply all of this kind of stuff that we've just done to a song, and you'll see what I mean. So, here we go, and yeah, absolutely, good job, and good job finding it. I can tell what I love about this chorus, and the choruses at this level, we hit the last note, and I think your bassists weren't quite happy with what they did, and they changed and adjusted to make it better. That means you're really aware you have great ears. I'll take that any day, right? That's fantastic. The only last thing I'm going to ask you to do, bassists, you have 1, 4, 1, right? When we go up to 4, we can do that by a dimmer switch, like right? Or we can do just light switch. I like light switch, right? And I don't want the light flickering when you get there because you haven't quite turned it on all the way. Just bang, all the way up there. Here we go, and it's a little fuzzy, and exactness, accuracy, and that's going to help us actually in a space like this, because it's a little soupy, right? And so when it's acoustic, we call this acoustically very wet, right? So the more we can kind of less rely, I know this sounds weird for barbershop, less rely on our ears and rely on our other senses, our sight, our maybe kinesthetic, doing it yourself, right? Things like that are going to be really helpful in an environment like this. Can we go to It's the Music? And let's play a little.
It's the music that brings. It's the music that
I
brings.
want to do it's really super slow, and I kind of want to get to the beautiful word, the music. Here we go.
It's the music that brings us together.
Great. So the first thing I want to do is stop on that first it's chord. Now, when we do it, in reality, it's going to move, right? We're not going, it's the, but for the time being, I really want to tune that. I think that we're close-ish, right? And he's a really good friend, Steve Tremack. I love, he has a lot of Tremack-isms, and one of his isms is, don't ramp up to your best level. You just start at your best level. Like, we don't want to hear like, okay, here we are. We're finally on music, and now we're singing well. The it's the has to define you, right? That's the first thing we hear. One of the things, again, just because it doesn't start on 1, right? We don't get to that 1 chord until a little bit. we are a little bit shy on the pitch on its. So let's make sure we're all the way there. Can I hear leads and basses on the its chord? By the way, of the vowel thing. Leads are on which is a little closer to and basses are on you know how different that sounds?
Yeah.
Can you, in this instance, I like basses to move towards the lead sound. So it's going to be a brighter vowel, it's going to be more buzzy. Let's hear leads and basses on the its. Yeah, and it's all the way up there, all the way up. I have basses. I want you to drive this slightly sharp. So whatever you can do, you have such good ears, I can hear it in your tuning. I want you to drive it so that the leads have to work, right? You're letting the leads, basses, you're letting the leads get away with stuff. And I like a bass that constantly makes my leads work, right? You're making them, you're like, it's gonna go a little higher, right? Do that one more time. Yeah! That's so exciting, right? Okay, so what happened? I taught you nothing. It's true, it was in you already. I just reminded you of how good you can. That's it, right? However, that needs to be our habit basis. Boy, oh boy, if you sang like that, like you're going to be turning heads all the time. Not that you don't already, but that was really stellar. That when I get a visceral reaction, like the hairs on my arms, then I know things are good. That was really good. So basses, I need you there more all the time. All you did was give me a little bit more focus, and pitch was just rocking. That vowel was great. Can we add the baritones in there? So no tenor yet. Good. Now baritones, you're singing to the old bass note, right? But they've changed now. So your note has now changed. It's a little higher. You also are singing to the old because if you're kind of mid to low, right? It needs more to match the lead vowel, right? One more time. We're getting really nitpicky now. I love it already. And on the way up there, basses, every single time you need, not just once, every time you need to challenge those leads. You need to add the tenors in the beginning now. 4 parts. So your job is to be accurate, but to reinforce what the basses are doing. The basses, it's focused and it's high. One more time, 2 parts. Yeah, present. I like that way better. We're starting to feel that in the room. 4 parts, but don't change a thing from what you just did. Here we go. It's the music, I believe, is what we want to do.
We want music.
It's the music.
Yeah.
Can you direct that with me? Ready?
It's the music.
Good. So you have good instincts. The kind of most important part is right here at the bottom, right? It's the music. So it's just how fast does your corkscrew work, right? That's really what it's all about. If I go, it's the music, that's a slow. It's the music. So it starts with a small corkscrew and then opens up a little bit, right? I like talking about wine because it's something that I do. So, and if you don't, that's okay, but you understand how a corkscrew works, so it's okay. So can we go, it's the music, ready? It's the music. That's how we need to run it through. Whenever we speak, please don't speak like a congregation or a school or anything. It's the music that brings it. It's the music that we need to speak like a singer. Here we go.
It's the music that brings us.
Yeah, now you're gonna have that kind of movement. So when Sue starts directing this, and Sue, you ask something, you say, I need you to watch my hands. I think you need to do actually one other thing. Anticipate. It's not about watching, it's actually anticipating. Watch this. Can you clap your hands? Let's see, let's do this exercise. Can you clap your hands with me? So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. This time I'm not gonna count. Ready? You're watching me differently, aren't you? So when I counted it, you could actually turn off. You could just go, oh, my internal clock is going, bang. But you're watching me differently, and you're anticipating my movement to be right with me, right? That's the kind of watch we're talking about, right? So I'm anticipating so that I can be right there rather than, oh, I start now. No, you're late, right? We actually don't want you to be with Sue. We want you to constantly be anticipating everything that's happening. That's the communication between director and chorus, right? At this level in particular, right? And by this, the way, when I say this level, I mean this level all the way up. That's where you are now. That's fantastic. But it's anticipation. So let's do that one more time. We're not going to stop on this. We're going to go. But you know how it goes, so you need to own that. Here we go.
It's the music that brings us together. Yeah. It's the music that brings joy untold.
Yeah, you're starting to make way better choices. You're being more together.
So much easier.
I love it. And so the best part about this, as a director myself, the best part about this is that what you're going to notice is that Sue's direction is going to change for the better, right? So when we are in a mode, and this is good to know, right? Let's be open here. When directors are in a mode of we're not quite together, do we do less or more?
More.
Does more help you?
No.
No, it always ends badly for everyone. For us, our shoulders are just killing us, and for you, you're like, this is just too much work, right? It's a lot of effort. But that, you started to notice that even instantly, the direction went from here, and it got a little smaller. That is the sign that, hey, this is working, right? So I'm going to let you use the word anticipation as often as you want. If we start to notice it's a bit sluggish, I'm just going to say anticipate more, and you know exactly what that means now. Can we do that again? Because that was great and basics. Keep doing what you're doing. I love it. Keep doing what you're doing. Here you go. Absolutely.
It's the music that brings us together.
Yeah. I know we're nitpicky here. Did you notice the first wasn't quite together? That's it. Other than that, everything after that was great, but the it's wasn't quite together. Let's make sure we're anticipating so that we go bang, and we know exactly when to start. Here we go.
It's the music that brings us together.
This vowel, if I may.
Yeah.
We've been using the key of wood. So the wood. And it's a
Together.
crappy vowel to
It
the
is.
opening phrase, and so we.
You mean the third vowel, the THER.
So can we just improve that, keep it tall and bring it? So let's do that.
And everyone now understands if you're higher or lower in your range, what you may need to do to modify the vowel to make it actually agree. Like that's a tough one. So if you find out it's a bit pitched, relax it. If it's a bit movie, right? Make it. And all of those sounds are valid sounds, by the way. Just not here. Right, like that's the thing is that in other choruses, like if you listen to certain choirs and choruses, they actually really like that kind of sound, but that doesn't work for our style of music. That's the problem. It's all about style of music that you're singing. We're singing barbershop. Barbershop works when we have agreed vowels, and it tends to be on the brighter end of the spectrum. The woofy stuff just never works, right? It doesn't bring it forward. So let's do it. Here we go. The.
It's the music that brings us together.
like if you sing that note. Here we go. Gathers leaders. The bass. Can I hear those? The two parts. Good. Scoop bass is no ramp up to your level. That kind of it was a bit flat and it was a bit here, and then you went all the way through the note, and what you ended up with was flat. Give me that right away. Thank you. I need that right away. Do it again. Yeah. So all of those intervals, basses, every time, and today I'm going to be your most biggest cheerleader and also the most annoying person you've ever met. Right? So when you get it right, I'm going to cheerlead like crazy because I love it, and because it affects my visceral. But when it's not right, I'm not going to let it go. Right? Because we can't build habits by just letting things go all the time. You know that. That's not how habits are built. So let's do that one more time. And then what we're going to do is kind of flip to the ballad and bring some of these same techniques to that.
That's right.
Yeah, let's do it again.
It's the music that brings us together.
Yeah, basses, yes.
It's the music that brings joy untold. Those sweet melodies, those grand harmonies, like the fire that burns.
So now it's going, so it was so great, you followed me, and so now you're going to your own plan.
Yeah.
Just a reminder.
This is, we probably are around like measure 17. This is usually, right, I've noticed this, we may not be 17 yet, but right around measure 17 is where we check out. Every song. That's kind of where we were like, yeah, what am I going to do for lunch today? Right? And that's, we just need to find where are those moments in the song. That's when we need to be hyper-focused. Because the weird part is if you turn on your hyper-focus again, you'll be that way for another 17 or so measures, right? Which is pretty close to the end of the song, I think, right? So that's great. So we know on the fire that burns, I think is right there. That's kind of that area that we're not checking out, right? Where can we go?
It's short enough.
It is short. Well, by the way, I love by the way the starts all the time now have been way more together. That's what we're talking about, right? It's the end.
It's the music that brings us together. It's the music that brings joy untold.
That's it.
Those sweet melodies, those grand harmonies,
Hyper-focus.
like the fire that burns in my soul. When storms roll around, when life brings us down.
Yeah. I think that I would find more opportunities of circling. So when what are the lyrics there? When storms roll around, right? Storms roll around. So when storms roll around, when life brings us down. I think we want to move through that. Life brings us down. Say that.
Life brings us down.
Yeah. Right now I feel like we're thinking life brings us down. Right? I can see that, right? In your performance. Right. Life brings us down. Do it.
Life brings us down.
Yeah, don't worry about the brings so much, right? I'm hearing life brings us down, but really it's life down. Right? Those are the pillars. Those would be right here on the oval. Life brings us down. Right? Do it again.
Life brings us down.
Fantastic. This time I want you to go, life brings us down. Because that's what you're going to have to do. You're not going to go down, but down and hold it down, right? Life brings us down. Yeah, we want to practice that. So can we get in?
Storms roll around.
Yeah, when storms roll around. And that's what we're going to do. Can you direct it this time too? Like we'll all do that together.
When storms roll around.
I always like that with our chorus, I was like, that was interesting. We say
So
that.
sweet melodies. Here we go. Pitch.
Those sweet.
So sweet. Can you match your oohs to their E in brilliancy? Here we go.
Those sweet melodies, those grand harmonies.
You're doing grand harmonies. Here we go, sweet.
Those sweet melodies, those grand harmonies, like the fire that burns in my soul. When stars roll around, when life brings us down, when trouble and strife come our way, it's the music that brings us together. But it's
I'll take a little bit of a longer pause.
Yeah. But you could hear that there's so much more movement, and I love that you were also. It was a symbiotic relationship, right? So it's not just Sue telling you, but you are actually physically telling Sue at the same time. Right? This is how it goes, right? Because this is just me, but as a director, I always like to think that my role is just to remind us about how it goes. I'm not telling you how it goes. I'm just reminding you. You know how it goes. So if you're kind of reliant on the director to tell you how it goes, you need to figure out how it goes. Right? Because I think you have an idea. It's like if you're in a quartet, you kind of know, right? This is what we've now decided on. By we've decided on, right? We understand. It's what Sue decided on. It's like me. It's what I decided. But we've now agreed that yes, this is how we do it, and I know how it's done. And it's interesting because when I look at your performance of, say, the Uptune, right? And by performance, I don't mean the choreography. I just mean your general involvement, right? It's different, isn't it? In this song, there's a lot of, right? And the more you started to kind of get your body into it, you took more ownership. I see that more on the ballad, the When She Loved Me. I see more of that on the ballad than I do on this song. So I think we just need that kind of personal ownership, and that will kind of lift. So let's take a second, shake out a little bit. You've done some wonderful work already, and just move through your range. If I ever, I'm so used to you saying level through your range, so if I say that, just do what you're supposed to do. You got it? It's just like saying, do the SOV of your choice. If you want a PT of your choice, if you want any of those things, you do you, right? But I love doing that just to kind of reset. So shake out a little bit, do one more of those, just. And just kind of take this. So we're changing up a little bit. Going down. I'm just going to ask a bunch of questions. Is everyone going to do?
No, the leads are holding
No. The leads are holding through, and everyone else has the da 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 da. Fantastic. Can I hear this? Let's make it leadless then. Can I hear this? Just the harmony parts, please.
Basses are all doing good, right?
Yeah. the thing that immediately hits me is it feels like wind or something going through like musically, right? There's something that kind of and then it kind of fades away, and then it does that again. We hear that in orchestras a lot, right? So even though you're saying do 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 do, it sounds very connected. It's not disconnected. It's not do 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 do. So can you just give me a little bit more of that? If it helps to play like a string instrument, as you should. If by the way, if you play a string instrument, you know that I can't. Because you're like, he really sucks. You're right. But if you're playing that, you can hear where the ebb and flow is, and I want you to make that really apparent to me as the listener, right? No leads. Leads, you have a totally different part here, but harmony parts, I want you to make that apparent, and the only change is at the end basis, I want you to go up to 4 to be even higher, to push it slightly sharp. Here we go. 3 parts.
Just a reminder, that's one place you cannot read bases, okay? So you gotta keep the energy going before it switches to that chord.
Yeah, absolutely. That was wonderful. I love everyone's just like a massive step. I need one more like that. So as far as you think you brought it, I need you to go further with the da because that's the habit. The habit of all of us, by the way, is to water down everything that we do. So we're going to do this, and the next time you do it, it's going to be less than. I want your goals always to be, how can I make it more than? Always more than. Because if you can do that, then when you go on stage and it's not quite as much, it's still amazing, right? It's how we do it. So let's do that one more time. The trio, wow, that was so much more musical though. Let's one more step in that direction. Can you make that note the most interesting note we've ever heard? I know you've never heard that before, but what are you on? Just know.
Yes.
So you have this. Right, it's going to do this, but it has to do this along with the other parts. So it needs to feel like it grows like this, and then it does this. In essence, you're doing all the musical shape of everyone else. You just have different structure. Right? Let's try that out. More and more and relax it. More and more and relax it. Faces all the way up. And when somebody loved me, everything was beautiful.
Everything was beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful is the target.
That intro was gorgeous. At the end of the intro, it made me go, and then you get to sing into the song. Now, one of the things, this is a barbershop ballad, so it has, we know that this is in a barbershop. We're not in a vocal jazz contest, we're in a barbershop contest, and so there's some things that we need to do to enhance that, right? Can I hear the leads for a moment on when somebody loved me right there? Is that the words?
Yeah.
All right, good.
When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful.
So just speak this with me. Listen, everything was beautiful. Listen, everything was beautiful. Speak with me. Everything was beautiful. And
Yeah.
sing
So
that.
just I'm gonna go even more nitpicky. Did you notice that it was together, but it was everything was beautiful, right? If I read my 6-year-old a story like that, she'd be like, "What's wrong with you?" Right? Like, everything was beautiful. It sounds like the B-52s, right? Everything was beautiful. We don't want to do that. So where the thing that well, some people they just got it. They're like, "Oh, that's it." So we need to figure out where are the emphasized de-emphasized words, right? So I know right away when Sue said it, she went, everything was beautiful. So and beau, everything was beautiful. Can you speak it like that now? Everything was beautiful. The reason why we're getting tripped up, I think, on words and slowing it down is we're giving them equal weight. But you would never do that when you speak. You wouldn't go, everything was beautiful. Everything was beautiful. Try it. Everything was beautiful. Now we need to sing with that. When somebody loved me. I'm hearing a bit of when somebody. Keep it there the whole time. Right? You have the voices to just do it. Here we go.
Let's start right there.
Just the leads. Yeah.
When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful.
Way to go. Now we're yeah. So basically we're just taking, like, everything that you're doing as an organization is moving in the right direction. You feel that, I hope. Right? You can hear the sounds that are different and better and constantly move in the right direction. It's just like, we want to go to the next level now, right? That's every chorus says this. That how do we get to the next level? It's all about detailed work that most honestly, our mantra in our chorus that we say with our Close Showcase all the time is, let's do the work that nobody else wants to do. That's really what it's about. Is that, and you've done a lot of that work. You continually do the work that people are just unwilling to do. Everyone says, you ask, of course, you say, hey, how many people want to improve? Yeah! How many people want to do the work? Yeah! Right? And it's just about that. And it's not hard when the rewards are evident. When you hear what your leads just said, and how beautiful that is, and how impactful that will be, it's not about a contest. How musically impactful will that be for an audience? They're going to be like, wow. Right? That's what it's about. And you just tapped into that. Let's keep tapping into that. That's really good. Can we have the basses there? Those two parts of the basses. The leads have, you can hear, even the leads like, when somebody loved, they're way more efficient. So we need you to match their efficiency or go even further. Two parts.
When somebody loved me, here we go. When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful.
Good. Now the hard part is we have different jumps and leaps and stuff like that. Guess who cares?
Nobody.
Yeah, the audience doesn't care how hard the song is for you. I know it's sad, right? They just want to be entertained at the end. So that was your mulligan basis. So do that one more time. Let's be right with the leads, not behind, and even more focused. It's still, it wasn't here, but it's here, and I need that. When, you're right there.
When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful.
That's right.
Everything was beautiful.
Yeah, let's try that. Everything was beautiful. Do it with me. Everything was beautiful. Fantastic. Sing it again. Basis. Oh, sorry. That's what I'm talking about. That was like when you could hear the buzz between those two voices, right? So, by the way, I know that it's right because baritones and tenors give you the highest praise that baritones and tenors will ever give you, and it's this. You may not see it. If you don't look around, you won't see it. But they were going. High praise. Here we go. Let's do it. Two parts.
When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful. Every hour we spent together lives within my heart.
Because I just want to say, like, basses, if you sang like that all the time, I know that I'm on you a lot. I'm on our basses too. And the reason is because it is the foundation of our heart. When you are on, it affects every other part the most. Right? I sang tenor in a quartet for many, many years, and I love doing it because it affected nothing. I weren't listening to me to tune. They weren't doing it like that was it. I just got to do my thing. It was comfy. But the bass part is the part that we actually rely on the most for tuning, the most for kind of vowel, where things are going to sound, all of the above. So when you are on, you affect the chorus so positively, and when you did that, I loved it. So I'm not going to let it go. We need to develop a habit. I don't want you to feel like picking on you. I just want to make you the very best you possibly can be, because when you sing like that, it's changing how other people are singing more than when I tell them to sing differently. Right? So basically, you keep care of that. You keep care of that. I love it. Have those big shoulders, right? And you own it, but I love it. Let's add the all four parts. Let's make sure that everything was beautiful, that we're anticipating more. We know how that goes. You own it too. Don't put it all on you right now. Let's all own it together. Right? Here we go. From When Somebody, four parts.
When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful. Every hour we spent together lives within my heart.
Good. You sing my heart. So my heart is a great if you read my. Whatever your notes are. Secondary sound. Your target vowels are really quite good. You know, boom, you've worked that. I can tell, and they're really good. I need your secondaries now to be just as beautiful. So the target vowel is your primary vowel that you're holding. The secondary, or whatever you want to call it, diphthong, right? But the secondary vowel, my, needs to be more together. The other thing is, this is the weird part, it needs to be energized. And why? Because my heart, it leads us to the next word. My heart, feels like it's dipping in sound. My heart, and basically you have my heart, is that right? My heart. I'm guessing here.
So sorry, it's a maybe question.
No.
So you're saying it's my, and it has two sounds in that my.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so Ellie is brand new.
That's amazing.
So, so we haven't,
That's
the primary vowel is what?
Ah.
Secondary vowel, also known as the diphthong, is E. So let's speak it. Right, and the other thing is that we know that diphthong or that turn or that secondary vowel or whatever you want to call it goes where? On the next word. So again, and now what Jordan is saying is one step further, is putting a little energy into that turn, right?
Exactly, because the tendency for us, because we think the target as being the most important, which it is for vowel, like lock and ring. But what happens is if we start to pull away on the secondary, which is normal, because we go my in English, my, and we pull away. But what would that do to the music? My heart, not so fun. My heart, it needs to pull us to the next word, right? This is a next level thing, but it's just, hey, this needs to have energy. If you just focus on keeping the energy going, it'll be perfect, right? But let's make sure that it's turned together. Can we hear that pitch? I may take it good. My heart, two parts, my might. Good. The two parts don't include the tenors. Here we go. This is basically, now basses, you're not low in your range, but low. Ma. It kind of wants to be on that. Ma. Get your vowel here, not ma, but ma, 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 mo, mo, ma, 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 ma. And then we'll try to sharpen. Here we go. Sorry, I just totally gave you the wrong notes. My heart is in my heart. Here we go, 3 parts. Yeah, we add tenor sense to that. Great, here we go. So this is, by the way, this is going to be a chord with no jazz. It's the end of the phrase. So the tendency is my heart, right? But it's not my heart. It needs to say formal, regal. Don't let it move that, right? Can we go from when somebody loves me? It gives us a chance to do that. Everything was beautiful. Do that with me. Everything was beautiful. I love how you spoke that. I heard the emphasize and de-emphasize. Let's sing it. Shake it up.
When somebody
Let's sing through that pound and help us connect that.
When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful.
Yeah.
Every hour we spent together lives within my heart.
See, the best organizations, it's all unity. Everything we do needs to be unified. Our word sounds, our vowels, our tone, our performance. It's all about unity is the key to it, all of the success. And I was just so much more unified. It was more together. My heart was wonderful. It felt uplifting when we got there. That's what it's all about. Now, something to think about. You come back to this later on in the song, and it's a long song.
Yeah.
This is why it needs to move at the beginning. If it doesn't move like you just did at the beginning, then it feels like a long song. You know, open a book or watch a movie, and the first part of the book is really boring. Do you finish watching it or reading it? No, you put it down, give it back to the library and say, well, someone else can do with this. Or you stop the movie and you're like, we're only half hour in, we could watch another one, right? Switch. So this is what it's about. When you have more of that movement in the beginning of the song, it allows me as a listener to get more invested and not shut off. So that everything that's beautiful is so important to allow near the end when we're kind of enjoying some of those chords maybe a little bit more than we were at the beginning, we've earned that right. Does that kind of make sense? So let's do that a few more times, just get used to that movement. And then I'd like to go from the top to the do, and in a little bit, we'll take a little bit of a leg break, which is kind of, it's good to move around, with some fresh air, all that stuff. Here we go.
When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful. Every hour we spent together lives within my heart. And when she was sad, I was there to dry her tears. And when she was happy, so was I. When she
So I'm gonna get really nitpicky on the I chord, similar to the my. We're just getting the I. We're a little bit sloppy with that, right? And that's where I'm hearing disunity. So my goal today is like, okay, where's the unity issues? Bang, bang, bang. Let's shore all of those up. Those are habits, right? You notice they're both I-E diphthongs. So we're like, oh, crud, right? I-E diphthongs. So anytime those come up, I need the target to be pure, and I need to turn it to turn together. The target needs to be pure. There's a little bit of mud and in the target, right? And then we do that together. But leading to that point, that was like big stretches of wonderful. Right? It really was. Lots of movement. So you hold she, and when she was sad, and everyone say, she. Yeah, and when she was, so it's not, and when she was sad. It's not about holding a note, it's, and when she an emphasized word, but we don't emphasize it this way. And when she was sad, and that was beautiful. Shake up. Can you go? Oh, thank goodness.
Panicking.
Yeah, me too. I was so worried. Can you go from the top? You remember the wind stuff that we talked about? Then we go into the song, everything was beautiful, and then we get to heart, no pajamas, and then we have she, right? All these weird things. Then we have she, we're going to enjoy that, and then it moves again. Why does it move? Here's a good question. Why does it get faster? Other than, well, it should be faster. Other than Sue told us it's super faster.
Story to tell you something's going to happen.
Yeah, so it kind of tells us something happens, a story. How are you feeling in all of those moments? Like, let's think about it, right? So, everything was beautiful, right? Then then she was sad. I was there to dry her tears for the first time. And then what do you have? Then she was happy, so was I. Right? So all of those moments are very exciting parts of the song, right? I was happy too. I was excited. This was wonderful. Right? So it also matches the emotional content. So both of those are synonymous, right? Allow that to help guide you too if that's I'm oftentimes like we have to do both left brain and right brain stuff, right? So we need all of that. Good. Check out the lip from the doo-doos. Let's do it all. Get it better, you're not going to do it on stage, right? But we have to understand that we are going to have personal failures to get to where we want to get to. That's how we learn, right? You probably have some kids too, and I have kids too, and just watching them, that's kind of how they learn, right? They fail, and then they do it again, and then suddenly they're playing an instrument, and they're singing tenor or quartet, and they're like, oh, right? So it's that same thing.
And getting medals.
I know, right? So, and the new quartet, and I'm singing baritone, and Em is actually singing tenor, which annoys me to no end because she learns the music faster than me. Yeah. Really
And
frustrating.
she just has a great tenor voice.
She's
Talk
good
about
tenor.
getting it.
Yeah, it's just so frustrating.
Sure.
from the top, even more on the doo-doo. We kind of like to live in dreamland on the doo-doos. We're like, it's very ethereal, and I think that we need a little bit more a little bit more movement. So it's building towards the third stanza. If you think of ba da 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 da, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's build, 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 relax. Build, 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 relax up, right? With no pajamas. It's a no pajamas relax. Here we go. Let's do that. Doo-doos. That's it. Then more and more and. That's it. Lovely.
When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful. Every hour we spent together lives within my heart.
Fantastic.
And when she was sad, I was there to dry her
See the focus.
tears. And when she was happy, so was I. When she loved me, when she loved me.
Going.
Through the summer, we had each other, that was all. Just she and I together, like it was meant to
Good.
be.
Couple quick things. Can we get in on this? We get in there. Yeah, really, I love this. I love the features of all the parts there, the tenors and then the basses and the back. It's wonderful. I'd like to get in there. I want you to start it, and then I want you to direct us through that. As if you're kind of, like imagine you're in a quartet and you're helping each other, this is how it goes, remember? I want you to do that. You know what I'm asking you to do?
Yeah.
Great, I know, and just your eyes are going, I don't want to do this. Which is great, that's okay, let's go through the summer. You stop. Yeah, you just start it and then you have to,
Yeah.
but I want you to get physical. This is not what you do on stage. This is not choreography or anything like that. This is just, I want you to really have a sense of how that goes. Here we go.
Through the summer, we had each other, that was all. Just she and I together, like it was meant to be.
Okay, so there are some aspects of that you probably felt were great, but your mind is focused on all of the things that work, right? I know that's how our minds work. So the tenor solo was quite together, and then the basses you have. What is the kind of cadence of that? We had each other.
Through the summer and the fall. We had each other, that was all.
So it's the that, right? We had each other, that was all. It's the that we want to hang on to. Everything else moved. We had each other, that was all. Can we do that one more time? The basses, I want you to own that a little bit stronger together, right? Shake it a little bit. Here we go. Same place.
Through the summer, we had each other, that was all.
Yeah, so that was like 3 steps in the right direction. That was a massive improvement. One more time to really lock that in and get it even tighter, even more together. Tenors, when we're way up in the stratosphere like that, I love the notes and stuff. Just give me a little, oddly enough, more freedom. Less tenor. When we're that high in our range, we think of ourselves as tenors, and I need you to think of yourselves as soloists, not church soprano, soloists, right? So it needs to have a little bit more freedom, but I don't want you to any of that stuff, right? But more freedom. It still sounded too much like we're the tenors and we're singing it like a tenor as opposed to singing it like the melody singer, but just way up. Right, here we go, right on the same place. Basses, you own your part. Yeah, tenors.
We had each other then.
Good. Now here's the next question. Trio, because the basses were the most together they've been in that time. It was fantastic. When do you open to all?
I mean, when they say, oh,
They have that was, and then it's all. Do you notice how you're not with them? Right? You need to hear what the basses are doing and anticipate, so you open that together, or that's a big clump. In fact, I would have blamed the basses for it, but it's not their fault. They're crushing that solo now, and the all was right there. We need to be with them. That's our support. Do it again. Here we go. You open it. Help each other.
We had each other then.
Good. Yeah, and we have, if you have a ooh all, is that right? So, ooh, now you can go ooh all like that, or you go ooh all, and that's the one we need. Ooh all, because they don't go, that was all. Right together, right? That was all. That's what it says. That, the C sound. That was all. Right? Here we go. Same place. You're doing great.
We had each other then.
Slowly get to that.
Yeah, but that's the best it's been. This might sound funny, but I'd like you to try it. If you're a treble trio, and I know we talked about, does this song next weekend or no?
None.
Great, we can do whatever the heck we want. It's not an interpretive change. I want you to go, ooh, it's gonna sound weird. Ooh's all. You're gonna put a Z. Ooh's all. And the Z sound has to be with the basses. Because with the bass go, that was all. And I think that will help. That it's ooh's all. Just very small though, right? Ooh's all. That's it. Ooh's all. That doesn't sound nice. Here we go. One more time. Let's get a good start. Tenors, you're slightly going back to tenor voice versus soloist.
We had each other then.
That's better. It's a little cleaner. I love the cleanliness of that. We just need it together, right? But that was the most together today.
One more. So I'll give you that. You're doing everything on your own beforehand, but I'll give you that. Just know that what I give you is the vowel, not the Z. Right? Here we go.
We had each other then.
Yeah, I think that's going to make it. You're getting to the target better. Treble trio, so it's all right to that, and it stops us from going ooh all that way. It's really clean, and it doesn't sound like everyone's going zol or anything like that. So that's great. Question.
Yes, we keep saying ooh, can we go to the odd, it sounds a little better.
Where's the
I
odd?
had done it back on music.
She just changed it.
Yeah, we changed it. We changed it. It used to be
Oh, I wasn't.
No, so it's ooh's all now.
I didn't know.
Ooh's all. We're all on the same page. Good. So here's the thing. You now did that whole section together. It was way more together, and you could do it without Sue, with some coaching. So Sue's only there to guide you through what you already know. But when she starts directing, you stop engaging what you just did. Now I don't need to direct it, but your bodies were definitely showing us where the music goes. Keep that up. That's the relationship. Here we go. Let's keep going through the summer.
We had each other then.
One more time.
We had each other then.
Yeah, so this time I want you to direct. Yeah, that's okay. And I just want you to engage so that we're working together through, right? that. They had each other that. Right, faces? They had each other that was all. Here we go. All together. No one writes songs about mediocre people. Right? Like this is like, so just she and I together is more of that excitement again. Just she and I together like it was meant to be. I think some of us are getting a bit nostalgic already. There's time for that. And it's later, right? Through the summer one more time, and if everything goes really well, we're going to take a little bit of a breather. You deserve it. Fantastic. Okay, so it's so and by. Those are the kind of, like, if you think about what are the mileposts, right? So the years went by. Ya-da-da-da-da. So the years went by. Right? Whatever your notes are. Let's do that pitch and do that with me. Ready? So, first of all, I want to say, like, we work our butts off all the time to do what you've been doing consistently all day. Like, not once, not like in our course, not once has that pitch faltered all day. That's fantastic. Keep that up. Yeah, we were really fortunate this past year to work with David Wright, who basically said, you know, he's a pitch is everything guy, right? And we just, oh man, I can't tell you how much we work on it. And it does change things a lot. It changes the game. But hearing that's actually like really fulfilling, like barbershop part. It's a pitch every single time, bang, right in the middle. Keep that up. That's a lot of effort and work, and it's all worthwhile. All of it is worthwhile. Just really quickly, so the years went by. Let's do that. So the years went by, and
So the years went by.
Went by. That's what the T went is. So the years went by. I actually wouldn't even say the T. I would say went by. So the years went by. Right? Everyone will hear it, even though you're not singing it. Go for it.
So the years went by.
Yeah, one more time, don't be late on by. We're still wanting to hold went for some reason. We're like, I love it, but no. So the years went by, and
So the years went by.
yeah, that's it. And you can hear where the bottom, that's the emphasis, right? Do it again.
So the years went by.
Fantastic. This is great. You totally deserve. We keep saying that and we keep going. And the only reason is because you keep delivering at such a great level that it's like this is exciting. But we have a long day ahead of us too, so it's worthwhile. So take a breather, get some fresh air.